In this video, I'm going to be replacing the rear anti-roll bar drop links on my 2005 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Hello and a very warm welcome to another video from Auto Night. Next week the Jeep goes in for its MOT, and in advance of that I'm going to be changing the rear anti-roll bar, sway bar if you're an American, drop links. Now the offside rear was an advisory at last year's MOT, so it was obviously slightly worn then, and it can only be worse now, so precautionarily I'm going to be changing out both of those today. Now this is the offending drop link on the offside rear, held in this bolt, this nut. I can immediately see that this bush here is quite perished. The nut on this lower joint here is an 18mm, and you need to hold this centerpiece here with an 8mm spanner and release this. The upper one is also 18mm. Sometimes you need to raise this axle so this can be removed easily and the new one refitted. Sometimes it's easier to lower the jack while supporting the axle with an axle stand. It's now level. Next we undo this 18mm bolt and the drop link can be removed. Okay, so time to compare old versus new part. They're both the same length, they look to be the same with one exception, and that's the fixing at this lower section here. The original, we used an 8mm spanner just to hold the shaft there. This has a slightly different arrangement, and instead we've got the flats here, so we use a 17mm to hold that secure while we tighten the nut onto here. In terms of the make, it's not a genuine part. I bought this from a company in the UK called Jeepy, who've supplied me with quite a few things in the past and have been very good customer service. The make, it said all makes 4x4 was how it was sold, and then when I've got the part it says auto part on there, so not sure about the quality, genuinely hadn't heard of them. If you have good or bad experiences, do feel free to leave it in the comments below. So let's get fitting the replacement. Just refit the upper bolt, 18mm socket size. This new drop link came with a new lower nut. It's a nylock nut. So we secure the centre of the lower ball joint here with the 17mm spanner, and then we tighten the lock nut. And we fully tighten the top bolt. Job done. Now you might notice that there is some corrosion along here. It hasn't gone right through, but it's certainly something that will need attention at some point in the future, and something I'll probably take care of before the winter. And moving across to the near side rear, similarly perished upper rubber bush here. We loosen the top and we undo the bottom mounting. So this nut is fully removed. I've lowered the jack, which has allowed the axle stand on this axle to raise this axle, so this is now level and there's no pressure. And we can now fully remove the top bolt and the drop link is off. New one here is ready to fit, same as the other side, same product, same brand. Once again comes with the new lock nut. Just a quick comparison to make sure that length is the same, and it is. We loosely refit the top mounting and time to refit the lower nut. Once again securing it here on the flats and tightening. And carry out final tightening on the upper bolt. Job done. So all fixed, both sides have been replaced. Now we can just look at the old parts here. This was the offside rear. This was perished here at the top. There is play in this joint here, what would have been the lower joint. And in fact, the boot is also split. In fact, it's so weak and perished that it's disintegrating. There you go, it's completely detached now. The near side rear is visibly perished, although it's not split. Obviously that end is also perished too, the top end, but there is also play in this side, not as bad. So they both did need doing, which is good because they've been replaced. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Do feel free to like and subscribe if you want to see more similar content. Coming soon, I'll be changing the fuel tank in the Jeep Grand Cherokee. I am still waiting for the parts. It's taken a little longer than I had anticipated, but they are on their way. In terms of the Smart 451, the next video on that car will be replacing the front top suspension mount along with the shock absorber. I'll see you again soon. Thank you and goodbye.